Previously on...
Yo, fuck that noise. We got no time. Let's go. Man, Dad, you really gotta trust your son, man. I mean, damn. God, anyway, I just did my best to look innocent at this point, and probably failed epically. Yeah.
But, this is just so important, and we're so close to completion. We can't take any chances, not when we're this close to our first big presentation. And
presentation? What, Dad? You mean these VR machines, they're ready? Say what now? They're up and running and everything, Dad?
That's right, son. We've already tested Imagine V's sensory interface, yeah. And I've even worked up a simple game for it, so...
It was at that moment that Dad realized where I was going with this, yeah. Especially with the way I was turning back towards the VR machines and very nearly drooling over them, yeah.
Now wait just a minute here.
Can I try it, Dad? Can I? You just said that everything working, so, Dad immediately held up his hand in protest.
Hold it right there, son! We only tested the sensory interface here. We got them to, simulate sense and taste and all that crap, and we managed to get the interface working, but
then I can't be the first one to try it, right, Dad? Besides,
what could go wrong, right, Dad?
Dad made a face of disgust at this.
The mind boggles. Back.
Professor, maybe we should let Takeshi give Imagine V a try.
What? Candy! Whose side are you on anyway?
I'm not trying to take sides, Professor, but since Takeshi and your wife already know about Imagine V, I don't see any harm in letting him give it a try. Besides, maybe once he experienced the fruits of our labors, he'll really understand just how important it is that we keep this a secret. I wasn't sure why exactly Candy was suddenly coming to my assistance, but to be honest, I really didn't care what she was up to at this point, right? Yeah. All I really wanted was to give this new VR system of theirs a try.
She does have a point, And after all the time you spent being vague and mysterious about this thing, can you really blame your own son for wanting to try it out, darling?
But... For a few seconds, Dad glanced back and forth between Mom and I, his mouth opening and closing in different ways. It was pretty obvious that he was trying to come up with an argument that he could use to dissuade us or at least get us to stop nagging him. But before he long, he groaned in patent dismay.
Alright, fine! Fuck, I surrender. Waving the white flag here, right? However, there are conditions, son.
Conditions? What's that, Dad?
First off, you have to swear on your life that you won't tell anybody about Imagine V, right? Let alone the fact that Candy and I let you take it for a little joyride.
Yeah, sure, Dad. Yeah, I won't tell anyone. Of course, yeah, I swear, Dad, that,
On your life, Takeshi! On your motherfucking life. I swear you're taking balls too, right now!
Fuck, Dad. I placed my hand over my heart and my crotch. I swear, Dad, on my life and on my dick. I won't ever tell anyone about this unless yourself give me the okay, you know what I'm saying? A few seconds passed as Dad considered me, still scrawling a degree of displeasure.
I'm going to hold you to that, Takeshi.
Dad pauses to glance over at Mom, who nodded reassuringly, right before he issued another tired sigh.
Alright then. My second condition is that, since this is going to be our first real test of Imagine V in the game environment I cooked up, we're going to keep it short, right? 5 minutes tops. And don't even think of trying to beg for more time, because 5 minutes is all I'm willing to give you, son. Seriously, you shouldn't even be thinking of doing something like this. And if we're caught, both Candy and your old man could get in all kinds of trouble, God.
While I wasn't particularly happy about the restriction, I could still understand the sense behind it, and so I nodded. Dad, look. Dad, I understand, right? 5 minutes? Yeah, 5 minutes, fine. I'm good with that, yeah.
Alright. My third and final condition is this. If anything happens, if you feel feels strange or something doesn't feel right, alright, look, tell me, and we'll abort immediately, alright? I can't understand your being curious at all, but you're still my son, and the last thing I want is for anything bad to happen to you. And while technically speaking, nothing should go wrong, well, there's truth in the old saying about playing it safe, you know? Alright, fine, Dad, yeah. I mean, if you don't give me a coma or anything, then everything's fine, yeah. Glad to have that out of the way. I then turned towards the two Imagine V machines at what could be the future of the gaming world. And while I could still appreciate Dad's concern, I didn't share it in the slightest. So, can we get started, Dad? Okay, son. Now, I think I should have my head examined for letting you three talk me into this. With that settled, I didn't take long for Dad and Candy to get me hooked up in one of the Imagine V units. And from there, all it took was a few seconds work to fire up the VR interface, and damn, that really looked like an electric chair. You're not gonna fucking kill me, right, Dad? Anyway.
As you may have already guessed, the gloves and boots are the key elements in the tactile simulation elements of the system, or tactile stimulation and simulation elements of the system, I mean. As Candy spoke, Dad was securing the boots to my feet while I donned the glove. The cascade system we've developed allows you to experience full body sensations, but given how much mileage the average human being puts on their hands and feet, those elements require, well, special attentions.
Right, got it, right. I was only barely paying any attention to Dad and Candy as they went over the science behind their innovation. All I was concerned about was checking out the future of the gaming world, yeah. I was already reaching up to place my hand on the helmet when Dad collapsed his hand on on my shoulder, I mean. Look, Taki, ideally, nothing should go wrong, alright? But just in case anything goes or goes wrong, I want to brief you on the proper procedure for disengaging Imagine V, right? Alright, Dad, makes sense, yeah. I trust you, Dad, yeah. Nodding in response, Dad grabbed the helmet and held it up before me. As you can see, there are two knobs on the side of the helmet. These are the controls for safety disengaging the sensory interface, you know? If anything goes wrong or even feels off in any way, all you have to do is grab both knobs and turn them backwards a sharp 90 degree. This will safely disengage the sensory system or interface before deactivating the system. And even once the game starts, you'll still be able to feel the helmet and use the controls. What would happen if I just, yanked the helmet off instead? Yeah, I don't know. Presumably nothing, but since this is all new technology, you'll have to forgive me if I'm not in the mood to take stupid chances. Alright, son? At least, nothing stupider, than what I'm already doing, yeah? Okay, Dad, if anything goes wrong, I'll twist the knob back and everything should shut down, right? Right, which is exactly what we're going to test before we do anything else. Dad lifted the helmet to place it upon my head, but before he could get very far, Candy held up her hand.
Excuse me, Professor, but before you put the helmet on, there's something I like to do.
Dad frowned at this. And for that matter, so did I. I didn't forgotten how Candy had put the moves on me before, yeah, girl. But at the same time, I couldn't imagine her pulling something overt here and now. Even before, she waited until Mom and Dad were away from the lab before making her move. Well, okay. What is it? Candy didn't say anything to this. Instead, she stood up straight and looked at me in the eye. Smiling with the tiniest hint of her previous flirt, just enough to give me a bad feeling on my crotch, yes. She then wrapped her arms about my frame and pulled herself close. I had just registered the familiar warmth of her formidable breast against my own body, yeah, when she planted another of her potent kiss upon my lips, setting my heart to beating even faster. What in the... considerable displeasure in Mom's voice was most likely what prompted Candy to break off the kiss before looking towards her, yeah.
My way of wishing him luck.
It was clear from the squirrel Mom now wore that she was not even remotely satisfied with it, yeah, but that he just chuckled easily. Well, I can certainly think of worse ways of doing that, yeah. And any goodness knows, I never object to having luck on our side. I might have to agree with Dad on this. If not for the fact that this confirmed that Candy still had her eyes set on me, yeah. Probably on my crotch, yeah. Anyway, knowing that I would have to deal with the predicament sooner or later, I laid out of sight as I tried to relax. Even as Dad lifted the helmet up over my head before slowly and carefully guiding into place. Okay. A few moments later, my eyes were cut off from the rest of the world. Alright, first things first, son! I'm switching the helmet on. There was a clicking sound, followed shortly by a faint whirling. Away! A moment later, the blank screen that filled my view erupted in color, before almost instantly resolving into the image of the world around me. Alright. Oh, alright. Can you see me, Tacky? Sure can, Dad, yeah. Alright, good. Now we're gonna run a quick test of the fail-safes and basic systems. This isn't like your standard gaming system, after all. The Imagine V is basically interfacing directly with your body. I nodded in understanding, and so we spent the next few minutes going over all the systems. With Dad and Candy instructing me to how to turn everything off if something went wrong. Alright then, I suppose that covers everything. Just one more thing. Taki, my son, once we switch on, Candy and I will be monitoring you, vital signs and so on from over here or there, yeah. If anything looks to be the slightest bit haywire, I'm pulling the plug. And that will be that. Understood, son? Damn, I got it. Dad, just one more thing. How about the game I'll be playing? How do I play it? What is it like anyway? Oh, this game is very simple, Taki. More of the proof of concept than anything else. And as for how you play... Dad's mouth quirked with mischief, something I didn't like the look of. I'm sure you can figure it out, yeah. So, I'll let it be a surprise. Oh, what the fuck, Dad? Hey, you're all basically pushing me into giving you a test drive of Imagine V against my better judgment. God, son. At least let me have some fun and a few surprises for you, eh? Alright, Dad. And fuck you, Buck, yeah. And alright, Dad, yeah.
That's the spirit.
Dad just smiled in satisfaction right before he and Candy made their way off the Invention V platform we were using for this. They both took up stations at nearby computers, clearly to monitor everything and make sure everything went smoothly. Alright then, Taki! I'm loading the game program now! Then Dad paused and turned my way, furrowing his brows in a serious manner. And remember, son, 5 minutes. 5 minutes! That's it, right? 5 minutes, alright, got it. I still really wasn't happy about the particular restriction. Still, I expected that those 5 minutes would surely be better than nothing. Ready, Candy?
Ready whenever you are, Professor.
Nodding, Dad then began rapidly tapping the keyboard. Okay, in that case, game on! An instant later, the screen slid before my eyes flared brightly, forcing me to close my eyes to avoid being blind. There was a loud whooshing in my ear, and my entire body seemed to tingle for a few seconds. Soon enough, the whooshing and the tingling were gone, and so I cracked open one of my eyes to see if that blinding light still showed. But that was already gone, as was the lab. And in its place, holy shit. Wow. Wow! Minecraft, what? I breathed as I looked about and taking in what my senses perceived. There was no sign of the lab where my dad worked, let alone Dad or Mom or Candy. In its place was a strange world,
completely different from the world I knew. A world that seemed to be composed mainly of blocks, like Minecraft. There were plants, to be sure. There was grass rustling, blown by a slight breeze that I could feel against my own skin, carrying with a scent not unlike honeysuckle. There were trees, there were bushes, there were all the plants that you would expect to find out in the woods, as well as the smell of the forest, and those things looked natural enough. Wow, but the rest of the environment I was in clearly was not. The ground I stood upon was made up of blocks. The nearby mountain was also composed of blocks, and the valley that lay off to the side of where I stood was made of even more blocks. It was like someone had taken hundreds of thousands of cube-shaped blocks, colored them in the color of nature, and had proceeded to build everything that was now within view. Which, to be honest, was disappointing. Yeah. This poly count is pretty pathetic. Dad, no way this is going to convince anybody there's some place that might actually exist, Dad. Yeah. That was annoying for me. Suspension of belief, the ability to lose oneself in the story of the game, was one of the biggest components of any media, whether it be movies, TV, comics, or video games. And the blocky design of this environment failed that in a painfully spectacular way. Yeah. But even as I was frowning in disappointment, the scent of the pine tree found its way into my nostrils. And as I turned my attention to the nearby plants, which I noted had an excellent polygon count, I decided to go up to the nearest tree. Pausing to examine it, I then held up my hand and noted that my game avatar hand looked precisely like my own. This prompted me to look down at myself and study my current form. To my surprise, the Imagine Me system had managed to replicate me perfectly. Everything from my physical build to my clothes had been replicated, right down to the smallest details. Oh, that's cool. Now that's pretty cool, yeah! With this out of the way, I returned my attention to a nearby tree. Holding out my hands once more, I hesitated just for a moment before placing it squarely upon the tree's surface. In the instant I did so, I experienced the exact same feel as a genuine pine tree. I could feel residual sap upon my skin, and I could still smell honeysuckle from somewhere, and could feel the wind blowing gently. Yeah, very cool, yeah! The sensory simulation! It's perfect so far! And with that, I decided that I could forgive Dad for the optimal polygon count of the Terran proper. After all, this was still a prototype system I was dealing with. And Dad had made it clear that this game had been created as a proof of concept that this system could work. So I guess, I might as well enjoy this while I can. Yeah. Well, with that in mind, I set off into the forest, the most highly rendered and realistic aspect of this game thus far. Oh, so the bushes aren't polygons, or square. Okay, that's cool. Pausing to imagine a whole new generation of games with this kind of full sensory experience, game like fighters and RPG transformed into near reality, I found myself salivating at the prospect. Still, I'm starting to wonder when this game will actually get started. Damn, Dad! As if in response to my thoughts, a new sound reached my ears. Wait, what? The sound of a hurried footsteps crashed down upon the grass. Say what now? As I frowned at this, I detected another sound. That of hurried, frantic breathing, I mean. Wondering if I was in for an enemy encounter or something of that nature. I turned towards the source of the sound and froze in amazement. Whoa! Oi! Girl, you're down! Run! It was a girl. That much was obvious, yeah? Yeah. You damn, girl, you're so damaged. Damn! Anyway, a girl that was roughly my age, and she was carrying a crossbow in one hand. She was also grabbed in a scanty outfit that would have left very little to the imagination under normal fucking circumstances. Yeah, ooh. Anyway, not that I could imagine her being able to hide a superb figure like that, even with several layers of clothing. Yeah, but right now it looks like her garments had suffered some serious damage in recent times and were badly tattered, just covering up enough of the girl's frame of modesty's sake. Didn't you hear me? Run! But I didn't run. Heck, you know what? No! Why would I run? Yeah! I guess I'll enjoy the view and Help you out? Yeah!
Oh!